hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 322. This is Tony Gapperstone coming at you from Redwood City, California. That's the San Francisco Bay. I'm an actor, director, writer, producer, podcaster. I love talking to creators of all kinds. Bravemaker is 8 years old, and we are a nonprofit organization, 501c3, dedicated to justice, diversity, and inclusion in the film community. And we love creating spaces for people to build authentic relationships from the Bay to LA. And I'll say, before we come on with our special guest today, I'll be in LA on March 12th at Burbank at the LA Connection Theater, hosting a director's panel. We just released our first panelist, Londi Maduro. If you want more information, you can go to bravemaker.com/events to find out more and get your tickets. Well, with that, if you know me or Bravemaker, you know we would not be here if it was not for Sundance. Sundance was the inspiration that brought Bravemaker to life because I have been going for 14 years. I try to bring as many people as possible. We always get a condo, throw parties, do workshops and podcasts. And this year, like every single year, I looked over here because I'm going live on my phone as well. I meet people in our house, and people come through, and friends bring friends. And I got to meet an actress who was premiering her film called Shitheads, The Shitheads, at Sundance this year, starring all sorts of cool people: Shay Jackson, Dave Franco, Peter Dinklage, and she's on the podcast with us today. Her name is Melanie Loren. Hi, Melanie. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Tony? Thanks for having me.
Heck yeah. So you came in the Bravemaker house. You're friends with Lanisa Frederick, which shout out to Lanisa.
Yes, shout out to Lanisa.
She just had a deadline announcement today. Jury Duty Company Retreat launches in March. We're so happy for her. Hey. But you got a premiere at Sundance. This was your first ever Sundance too, right?
Yes, it was. And what an introduction. What an introduction to Sundance. It was my first time. And I got to be there, which was really cool. The last time, as you know, that it was going to be in Park City where it originated. So I got in right before it moved to Colorado.
Lucky. Yeah, it truly is a vibe. It's something special. And I think anytime you get creative people together with celebrating art and good stories and in cool fashion, there's bound to be like a magic about it. So before we jump into your role and being a part of this film, and I would like to hear your backstory. You're a singer, you got all sorts of things that you're doing in your life. So let's hear your origin story. Like, how did you get involved into the entertainment industry? What's your journey been like?
So my journey, I'm not someone who was a child actor. I was in my very first play when I was in high school. I was 16 years old, I think. It was Once on This Island. If you are a musical theater fan, you know that show. And I had the time of my life doing Once on This Island. I was like, oh, I like doing this.
And where was this?
This was in Chicago. So I went to high school in Chicago.
I'm from Chicago too. I don't think I knew that you were from Chicago. Yeah, okay.
Yes, I do remember learning that about you. So I went to St. Ignatius.
Cool.
And so I was in the Harlequins, which was the name of our musical theater group. Shout out to all the Wolfpack alumni out there. And I got a chance to be in this musical, and we took it to like the Illinois Theater State Festival, which was amazing. Oh. And I just kind of fell in love. Didn't know that I wanted to do it professionally though until I was about to graduate college. So it was just something that I did on the side for a long time. And then I decided, okay, well, I think I want to try this. But I was also learning to be a writer. I have a whole degree in journalism. And so it was something that I pursued simultaneously while doing other things for a long time. And then I took a big leap some years ago and decided to become a full-time artist. And here I am. I started doing TV and film along the way. And I landed at Sundance this year.
Okay. So you get this role. Let's talk about, because on Bravemaker, we like all the ins and outs, all the highs and lows. Being a full-time creator and artist and living in LA is not an easy calling.
Mhm.
So you're making ends meet. Tell us how that works. Like when we hear full time, like some of us salivate, like, wow, how do you make that work? Right? How does that work for you?
Well, those of us who do this know that it's not anywhere near as glamorous as it sounds. It can be at times. Like
Yeah.
Sundance is definitely a high moment, right? But it's hard, right? It's hard when you make we're choosing a life of uncertainty, a career path that doesn't really have ordered steps
Yeah.
that you take, and so many things feel outside of your control. And so for me, what that looks like is trying to control the things that I can. I show up, I do good work, I'm prepared, I've studied my craft, right? And so when I get a chance to show someone who I can be in a certain role, I try to take advantage of that. And what we also learn is that sometimes they take it, sometimes they leave it.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of times they leave it. People have no idea how many auditions I submit and I never hear anything back. Like the ratio would be mind blowing to most people. But you do it, and then you try to carve out time to have a life with your family, your friends, doing other side jobs when you're not working on anything so you can pay the bills. People like, damn, Melanie, you got a lot of jobs. I do.
We gotta have a lot of jobs. And if you're not cool, but juggling a lot of jobs takes a lot of compartmentalization. Sometimes the
lot of
arts might
time
not.
management
Yeah.
skills.
Yes, exactly.
And I still feel like I'm trying to master that honestly all the time. But I just try to celebrate the highs when I can, keep it real about the lows, and persevere. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. You know, when you send it out, you're an actor too. You get a self-tape request, which is what happened for me with the Shitheads. And
Okay.
a lot of times people don't even know. Here's the other thing people don't know. You have to be invited to audition for something like this. It's not just like, oh, there's a film being made, let me audition. No, the first success, the first victory is being submitted, in my case, by my agent to casting to even get the audition. And casting has to say yes or no. We want to see her audition. They said yes in this case. I put the audition on tape. Shout out to one of my friends who is my reader, who I also trust to give me feedback, and she did give me some on the tape, and they liked it. And they decided to offer me the role, and the rest.
And from what I remember, it was pretty quick. Like you were filming in October, if I remember you told me. Is that right?
September.
The
end of September, though. So yes, almost October.
And that for a premiere in January for a feature film, that feels very unheard of. Very unheard of. Wow.
Writer director Macon Blair, whom I have to show some love to. He was just the coolest, first of all. He is one I have enjoyed working with him so much. But also the work ethic, right? They got that thing, like they turned it around quickly. They got the ball rolling. They got into post-production, editing that thing, and they got it to Sundance in January. So shout out to them.
Well, if you're just tuning in, this is Tony Gapason. I'm talking with actress Melanie Loren about her debut premiere Sundance first-time film called The Shitheads. And before we talk a little bit more about that, because it's a fun, like crazy comedy, obviously with the title like that. But I want to back up a little bit because you've had a lot of TV roles. And I also feel like there's a lot of discussion to be had about the actor journey. You talked about how many auditions we do as actors compared to how many we actually get a callback, let alone book. I have come to feel a certain way about the words rejection, right? We talk a lot about in this industry. It's so full of rejection. And I've kind of tried to reframe this word a little bit because now that I'm on the other side of the camera, writing and directing and producing, I don't feel like it's rejection as much as it's just not the right selection or it's not the right time. So I've been using this phrase like, I just wasn't selected for this role. It wasn't like I'm rejected. It's like I did my best. I showed up and the director, the casting director, they saw me, the producers, they didn't select me now, but they might select me in the future. So how do you process? You've been on a lot of shows. You've been on Chicago Fire, all these different things. What would be your philosophy around that? Like, how do you maintain the correct, if you do, positive mental health perspective on
Yeah.
all the auditions and all the not being selected or not even hearing back. Sometimes you don't even hear back.
Right.
in this
You don't
industry.
even, you have to assume that it's a no, right?
Yep, that's right.
If you don't hear a yes, you assume that it's a no. Yeah, I kudos to you for framing that in a different way, that I wasn't selected for this, I may be selected for something else. And I really do think that that's a healthy way to think about it. You have to, if you're going to do this for the long haul with any longevity, you have to find a way to sort of not internalize the no's. I think for me, it's easier sometimes than others, right? If you get that role and you read this project, you find out about it, you read this material, you audition for it, and sometimes you get attached even in the audition phase, right? And you're like, dang, I really want to do this. I really want to do this one.
Yeah.
And so when that one's a no, it's harder to swallow than the one
Yeah.
that you just kind of felt like okay about. And then even in my case, I've actually gotten to the screen testing phase for 2 different TV pilots. And so if you're listening and you don't know what that means I made it. I got a yes at the initial audition. I got a yes at the callback. I made it to the short list. In one case, there was this series regular role was down to me and 2 other actresses. I was flown out to LA by the network. Here's the other thing a lot of people don't know. If you are being screen tested for a new episodic, in most cases, I think you have to sign your potential contract before you screen test. So in other words, you find out
what you're gonna make.
Yes. You find out how much money you would be making per episode, what type of billing you would get on the opening credits. Like, you find out all these details about what your new life in this role would be like, and you don't have the part yet. And so then you go there and you do this director session and you do this screen test with the network executives because they need to see how you look on the screen and if they choose you. And then in my case, twice they went with someone else. The letdown. Oof. And I won't sugarcoat it. I mean, these would have been, these could have been, if they had been for me, life-changing, career-changing opportunities. But to use your language, I wasn't selected for that. I will be selected for something else. And I don't mean to make it sound like it wasn't a process. There were tears. There were tears. There was a lot of disappointment. But at the end of the day, I realized that this is something that I love to do. And I just had to drive the faith. I'm a person of faith, and the faith in God that this is something that He wants me to be doing. And that has helped me to keep going, along with support from family members, friends, encouragement, people who, what you got? I'm coming to your show. I'm watching your show. What do you have? How's it going? How can I support you? And then just knowing that I'm so close. So that's part of it for me. And then let me say this too, Tony. Having a life outside of being an actor has been really important for me. Learning how to prioritize, like, yes, I want to take this vacation with my family. As soon as I go on vacation, does that mean that like 3 or 4 auditions are going to pop up that are going to be a conflict? Yes, that's what that means, because that's always what happens.
That's right.
It'll be dead for weeks. Go out of town. Go on back, like, have some plans. Okay, now we got things that start to come in. But learning how to prioritize and set boundaries and negotiate that and be like, you know what? I actually want to be there for my dad's birthday party. Like, that's a once in a lifetime thing. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And it helps keep me balanced.
We are live on Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. You can be live on LinkedIn these days. I'm talking with actress Melanie Loren, who just debuted her film at Sundance.
Hey,
I'm wearing the shirt on your behalf today. And we're talking all things the actor's journey and just the reality of how sometimes you get, quote unquote, so close, and then you get told no and you're not selected in the process of that and coping through that. I hear you saying, I mean, living a life. It's important to have things outside of the entertainment industry, which I would
Yeah.
also advocate for. Makes you a better human being, to have
In
hobbies, to have time
general.
with your family, to travel. You're using real life experiences then into your creative life, because
Mhm.
you're not just focused on quote unquote the craft, the craft, the craft. Because those of us who don't live the life don't have things to pull from when we're creating these characters, such as
Exactly.
let's hear your character in the Shitheads, and what that was like, and just working. I don't know how much you can talk about, because the challenging thing about a film at Sundance is they don't have trailers, right? So they
I
go
don't have
to
a trailer I can share, right?
yeah. So what can you share about being a part of this film and your role, and what it was like acting on set with all these big names?
Yeah, it was great. I'll say that this booking came at a particularly challenging time of my life personally, and so I'm
Mm,
also very grateful for the win, because it
cool.
was just a light.
Mm,
And I got to set. I met I met Dave. Dave, I think, was the first one that I met, and I met Dave Franco, and then
mhm.
I met O'Shea Jackson Jr. shortly thereafter that. We had not been formally introduced. He sees me on set. We do that. Hey, what's up? He comes over. He's like, man, what's up? He comes in. He gives me a hug. It was all love from the beginning. Now, what I will say, in this film, I play the wife, girlfriend, longtime boo to legendary actor Peter Dinklage. Okay. Now, how about this, Tony? I didn't know that he was my man, that Peter was the actor playing my man, until I was sitting in the makeup chair.
No.
I did
What?
not know. I knew that Peter was attached to the project, but they had been very quiet about what
Like
role he was
secretive. They
playing.
didn't want you to know.
And so I knew Peter was in it. I didn't know what character Peter was playing. So I'm sitting in the makeup chair there, getting my hair and makeup ready. We're talking I start hearing general conversation. Oh yeah, Peter be here, blah 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 blah. And I start piecing context clues together.
Uh
And
uh
I'm like, shut up. So I'm like, I'm looking at the call sheet. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's gonna be here then. I'm figuring it out in real time. Like, okay, he's called at the same time I'm called on this day. Okay, he's doing it. I said, oh, I know you lying. I know you lying.
what?
It was the best. It was the best surprise. And then when I got a chance to meet him, he too was lovely, was very down to earth, very easy to work with. They all were. And because they're so cool, we had fun both shooting the scenes and in between the scenes when we just had downtime on set. But that's one of my favorite things. It's just like discovering that in that moment. And I'm sitting in the makeup chair trying to act like I knew.
Uh-huh.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
You're
okay,
you're like
yeah,
you're like you're like
yeah.
yeah, script sides. And you're like, Tyrion Lannister!
Yeah. Game of Thrones. So yeah, no,
You're a
I love him.
professional. You're a professional, but in that moment, you
Yeah,
must be
absolutely.
like everything's in that moment going like, I'm married to Tyrion Lannister.
Crazy,
What like
crazy, and that's what I tell them. They were like,
wow.
"Well, what was it like?" I don't
Wow.
knock on wood, for all of the quote unquote bigger names, celebs that I've worked with up until this point, people whose names I'm not somebody that gets starstruck, really.
Sure.
Not like, because I'm at work, you know what I mean? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, I'm an artist too. I'm an actor too. I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing here as this character. We're gonna have fun and we're gonna get this thing made and we're gonna knock it out of the park. And that's what
Mhm.
we did. And so I wasn't starstruck, but I was just like, let's go.
That's great.
Let's go. Like, let's do this.
Yeah, and levels
Um,
up you. I'm sure, like you as an actor, you want to choose some scenery with someone else who can choose some scenery, and
that's right.
that's gotta feel good that you were cast opposite him, that people saw that in
Mm-mm.
you. So yeah, so
And Dave
congrats.
as well. Like, lots of interaction with Dave
Oh, good,
Franco.
good.
Veteran celeb actor. So super talented. O'Shea, all of them. I had some great time with them on scene. I got a chance to My character's name is Lissy, by the way.
How do you say it? Lizzie?
Lissy,
Lissy.
Lissy.
Okay,
So
Lissy. Well,
let me just back up and say a little general note about the film.
uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
in a sentence, it is about what they call two unqualified bozos who
Mhm.
are hired to transfer a juvenile delinquent, like a teen, to rehab. And ensues a day of mayhem.
Mm.
That teen is played by Mason Thames, who is also super dope, doing so well in his career and amazing to work with. And there's just farce after farce after farce on this day. And my character is part of that and facilitates a big plot twist for these guys.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait to
But
see.
in the process of doing that, though, as an actor, is very cool. I've done some fight choreography before this film, like some basic stuff, you know. And I got a chance to learn a few more fight choreography tricks.
Oh,
I got a chance to do some really cool work with some cool props that I hadn't done before. Bricks, some paint cans. I'm not gonna say anything more about that. You have to
bricks.
watch the film.
You taking some bricks?
It was fun. It was really fun.
Oh,
It
that's
was
super
it was
dope.
really cool. Really cool experience.
Okay, I want to hear because I'm a director and actor, so I love just practical things you have learned that work for you on set. I'm also a big fan. By the way, if you're watching live on any of the places and you want to ask Melanie a question, please go ahead and drop that in
Please.
the chat and we will bring that up. I have tons of questions more, but I want to hear just what you have found has been a best practice, things that work for you. I mean, this is the reality of entertainment. Sometimes things are super last minute, like, you know, you getting to set and not knowing who you're working. That's kind of common sometimes because it just
Right.
is
People
what
don't
it
know
is.
that. Yeah.
It's not like theater where you're doing all these rehearsals for months before you put on a show. You sometimes are getting, you know, your script the day before and you're prepping and you don't know who you're working, and you're lucky if you get a rehearsal. And there's some directors who don't like rehearsal. So for you, going from all these sets to shows to films, what are things that have become commonplace for you to help you be successful? Like, what are some of your own personal rehearsal methods? How do you clarify direction when you get direction that maybe is confusing with an actor, because things do move so fast? You're getting one take. So
Mhm.
anything that comes to mind that would be helpful when we as actors book that can equate just getting onto set and trying to enable those things that work for
Yeah.
you.
I'm really glad you mentioned that, and that you mentioned the lack of rehearsal.
Mhm.
Because a lot of time people don't realize the process for doing TV and film is very different than the process of doing a show on
Yeah.
stage for
Yeah.
theater. As you mentioned, you will have in many cases at least 2 weeks of rehearsal before you know get up and do the thing. In this case, you get your sides, your scenes. The script may be changing until the day before or the day of. I've got new pages when I got to set before. So it has
Mhm.
changed since the day before. And I'm sitting in the makeup chair memorizing what I need to say because it has changed.
Yeah.
One thing that really helps me though is even though I don't have this like organized, structured rehearsal, a lot of that with my director ahead of time, I show up myself rehearsed and ready to work. And so what that has looked like for me, and I'll use this example of the Shitheads to highlight that I had already booked the part, right? So at least one of my scenes, two of my scenes that I had to submit for the audition, I was familiar with. I knew what choices I had made as an actor.
Mm.
But to feel, I think it's important to be aware for what you need to feel ready to show up, ready to shoot on the day. If you don't get any rehearsal, can they say action and you're dropped in and you
Yeah.
know what to do?
Yeah.
And for me, I recognized I don't quite feel I got the job. I want to be able to show up so solid that I can play, that I can respond to my director's adjustments if he's giving me notes and changes in the moment. That means that I need to get a little bit more comfortable with this. So what I did and what I've done before, coaching. I
Mm.
have a great coach. I've worked with multiple coaches, and I want to emphasize that I did this after I already got the job. Like I coach for auditions sometimes too. definitely. But even though I already had the job, I wanted to make sure I showed up in tip top shape to shoot. And so I
Yeah.
reached out to a coach in this particular case, Annie Grinley out of LA. Some of you guys may have heard about her. Shout out to Annie. I said, Annie, I booked this role. I just want to run this with you a few times, see what you think, see if you have any feedback for me, ways that I could just level this up even more. And so the day before I got to set, I paid for a coaching session with Annie, and we went over this. And
Yeah.
she gave me some feedback like, yeah, that's great. Try
Dope.
doing that, try
Dope.
to try doing this, try doing that. And I also have friends, we talk a lot about networking horizontally and like
Mm-hmm.
networking across. I have really respected actor friends whose instincts I also trust. And so I
Yeah.
want to shout out my friend Melanie here. I have one of my really good actor friends is also named Melanie, by the way. Melanie Brazil. I want to shout out Melanie because Mel had worked with me on the tape and she had some good ideas. I was like, Mel, let's run this again.
Mhm.
Let me see. Let me try to see what you think. And she was available for that. And I got feedback from her too. And
Yeah.
so because I did that extra work, when I got to set, I said, okay, I know what I'm trying to come in with. That's in the back.
Yeah.
Now let me just be open to what Macon has to say as my director, because you never want to show up so set and stayed in what you're doing that you can't take direction. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
important to say as well. Like I
Mm-hmm.
had my idea, but he's the director. He's looking at the film from a whole
Yep.
different perspective and how this piece is going to fit in with the rest of it. And so I was ready. He was amazing. Macon, I have to say, was so open to my input as an actor. There was a particular
Dope.
line that I said in the audition that when I got to set, the script had changed a little bit and it wasn't there.
Oh.
And you have to have like social IQ, right? Like people reading skills.
Uh-huh.
He was cool. He had been cool about other things. I was like, I'm gonna ask him about this. So I was like, hey Macon, I noticed this line changed a little bit. He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. What's up? Like, did you like the
Mm.
way it was before? You want to change it back?" I was like, "Yeah, actually, I
Wow.
would. I would like to change it back." He was like, "Do it." He's the
That's
best.
that's cool.
Not every director is gonna say that. If you like, there are lots of directors who would not be cool with that. He
100%.
was, and it was just awesome. It was
Well,
awesome collaborating with him.
we need to clip a lot of that stuff. You just dropped so many nuggets. And as a actor again, who is I just booked a role in a short, but I thank
Yeah.
you. But I'm thinking like I'm the same kind of mindset as I wanted to have choices and I wanted to do things that would for my character stand out. So the amount of process and work that you do as an actor to try to flesh out what this character looks like on a page, because writers are giving you as much as they can clues, and sometimes they're doing certain things on a page because they also believe in a actor's potential and collaborative skills to level it up and to read beneath the lines, right, and to
Mm-hmm.
find different ways to do it and to have different objectives. So I love that I hear you saying as an actor, like the prep, there's so much prep, and the fact that you booked the job and then weren't like, cool, let me put my feet up. It's like, no, let me get other people to give me insight, let me get some coaching on that, which also reminds me and tells me you're investing. Like literally you have to pay for that stuff. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
your friends can give you feedback, but you're investing. You're like, I just booked a job that's going to pay me money, but I am also paying money so that I can show up to that job on the top of my game. And
Absolutely.
that's really, really huge. So a good reminder for all the actors out there: you got to be in classes, you got to have coaches, you got to be getting feedback, you got to be working and working and working the craft. Even after you book it, it's like you just don't know what the director is going to want. You said it. You don't know like what's happening sometimes. You're not reading the whole script. You're not always privileged to do that. So that's a good reminder is come with different ideas. And the last thing I'll say is I have had roles where I booked it and I thought I knew this character, I'm going to bring it. And then the director gives me a note that just crumbles everything. And if I'm not prepared to go, that's okay, I can take it in that way because I've done the work and I've thought through the other ideas,
Mm-hmm.
I will be so lost and get in my head and it will stump me. So as an actor, it's so important to hold it loosely too, as much as you do all the work.
And it's
Hold it loose.
hard, right? It's like telling you to invest a lot of time, energy, and money in something like this, right?
Mm-hmm,
And then just
mm-hmm,
let it go.
mm-hmm.
It is the opposite of your instincts.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
not that great at it all the time, to be honest. Like, but it's you do have to trust your director. You have
Yeah,
to trust your director. And again, if your spidey senses are telling you that it's that, it's okay, then speak up.
yeah,
Advocating for yourself. I think that one of the reasons that I had the courage to even ask him about that is because I've learned that lesson about self advocacy in my career leading up to this by watching other actors, like other actors who are more veteran, be vocal themselves. And so, I had the courage to do that.
yeah. That's dope. I think that word advocacy is a word that more actors need to embrace because
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is our job as actors to bring the director's vision to life, but not at the
Yeah.
expense of our integrity or at the expense of
Right.
our gut, right? Sometimes our
Mm-hmm.
gut is telling us like, hey, this line really resonated. This line felt important. I love that Macon brought it back. Like that's super dope. You
Mm-hmm.
advocated for it, and a good director will be open for it. And if it's not right for the film, then again, you have to trust them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they
If
are
he had
trustworthy.
said, I hear you, but this is, I really don't want it. I really don't want that. I would have said,
Yeah,
okay.
totally, totally.
Yeah. But that's
Yeah,
not what
that's
happened. So I got to keep it.
yeah, that's great. Can you give us a little hint of what that line is so we can be looking out for it when we hear it?
Let me
A
see.
word or something?
Simple.
Okay, great.
Simple.
We will be looking out.
I say the word simple followed by an expletive.
Okay, okay, good. I love it. I love it. Do you know was the film bought? Is there anything you know about the film and when it might
So
be?
it's funny you asked that, Tony, because
Okay.
as I was preparing for this today, I was like, I don't know what to tell Tony about about like the future plans for this film because as you mentioned, if a film premieres at Sundance, then there's no trailer. A lot of times there are people watching the film trying to see if they want to invest in the film. There's a lot of things that are still up in the air. So I actually was like, let me see what I can find out.
Mhm.
So I hit Making Up and I was just like, Megan, what can I say? About this film. And so I am happy to say that it is going to be part of South by Southwest coming up.
Dope. Are you going?
Yes. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Much
Melanie, that's
much
so cool.
much like Sundance, like things move quickly. So we'll see.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
Um
congratulations. That's huge.
yes, yes. And then it's also gonna be, I think it's gonna be, let me look back at the text so I say this correctly. Um I think oh yeah, it'll be distributed by IFC with theatrical.
Oh, dope, dope.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I don't have any dates yet, but
Okay.
that's what's coming up. So just keep your eyes and your ears open for the
That is
shitheads.
dope. Okay, so I don't remember if I told you this or you were there when it happened,
Uh-huh.
but at one of our parties, we had these guys come who were wheeling and dealing. Did I tell you about this?
You did, but tell everybody else. Yes.
So these guys came in, and Sundance is such a wild place because the stories that people say like are so outlandish and so ridiculous and so just elevated, literally because you're elevated into the mountains. But these two guys came in and they had a big producer energy. They, no joke, we are a nonprofit, so we had tickets we were selling, so we can cover
Mm-hmm.
we don't have big sponsors. We're like, we need to cover all this alcohol and food. So it's like $25.
Right.
And
Yeah.
these guys came in with hundreds dollar bills.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, boom, 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 no joke. One guy gave $400 donation. One guy gave $200, and it was like, who are these guys? And one guy took my phone. He's like, let me put my number in your phone. Like, you got movies. Let's talk. What is this? Is this the foundation? I'm like, well, this is a nonprofit. We do films and we have a film festival. He's like, let's talk. And turns out they were investors in the Shitheads. And
Hey. Yeah.
so we'll see. I have yet I had one Zoom or one call scheduled, and on like the minute I had picked up my phone, I looked it up, there was a text he had to cancel. So I'm going back and forth. One's in London, one's in Texas. So just wild stories. but
Mhm.
it's the beauty of this industry. You
Of
got
that
you.
crazy thing called Sundance. Like people don't. This was my first time, and whatever I was expecting, I wasn't prepared. Right
Uh-huh.
for the mayhem of so much is happening. Like the
Mhm,
films are playing, yes, but then they have all of these workshops for
mhm,
like professional development around different
mhm,
topics and like mixers sponsored by different people. Tony's
mhm.
party was live, y'all. I walked in the door. I said, okay. The music was going, the drinks was flowing. The
Oh
people were having a
man.
good time. I met Tony, and so many other cool people. But people are also there, to your point, to
Yeah,
like shop their films and like
yeah,
get
yeah.
investors. And
Yep.
you got a few dollars, so that's good. And the connection, right?
Yeah.
And so who knows? Who knows like what will become of that?
Let's see.
Um,
Let's hope. And you got to have sometimes that long game mentality,
yeah.
whether it's casting and you didn't get selected for one film, but those casting directors remember you and bring you back a year later, or it's the financing thing. Even with our sponsorships for our film festival, I will have a conversation in July with someone who's like, I really love what you're doing here. I'd love to get you talking to our company and our charitable members about how we can sponsor. And then 2 years later, finally, we get a sponsorship donation
Mm-hmm.
from them. It really is
2 years.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And that is super common. People will come to, for instance, we'll be in LA on March 12th. We were just there in February for an event, and we had Issa Rae's head of talent and management for Color Creative. His name is
Nice.
Raj. So Raj was just chatting and talking about all the work he's doing and the pitching of projects. And he was saying how sometimes it takes years for the financing to come together and the packaging for a film. And I was like, and there are people in this room today, Raj, that have come here because of who you are, thinking this one conversation they're going to have, and you're going to sign them, and it's not true, right?
Right.
We have to put in our heads that it's like relationships. It's like the dating. You don't just meet someone normally unless you're on the reality show Married at First Sight or whatever. You don't just jump into those things. It really takes time.
It does take time. And you just got to keep doing your thing in the meantime, right? It's not just like standing there waiting. Like you're
Right.
doing so much with Brave Maker. You're doing your thing. And the partnerships will come. The
Amen to
partnerships will
that.
come the way that they should.
Proclaim it
There
to
we go.
your lips, to God. Thank you. Bring it, please,
That's
more and more.
Right.
If you're just jumping in, I see people are live again. If you have questions or comments, I know there were some comments, people just praising you and saying they're so proud of you. We had somebody say from Third. Where is it? Happy for you. Can't wait to see Third Baptist Church family. Addie. All right. Enjoying it. Thank you so much for watching, Addie. Melanie, thanks for sharing insight and providing so many cool things. Wishing you so much luck in the future. People,
thank you.
Support your creative friends. Go to their shows.
Yes.
Show up to their live streams. Be in their comments. I was just telling, I teach an acting class on Wednesday nights, and I was just telling our actors, you know this, but the power of social media. It's like we can build relationships right in our hands, and there's levels, right? There's all sorts of levels that we are in social media. You know, the first and easiest one is just you're a lurker, you're a scroller, you just are watching everybody, right? And 50% of those lurkers usually not even usually, but take their thumb and like it, right? They put a heart on it, but then it's like the people who take a next step, it's like an emoji, fire, praise hands, hearts.
Right.
But then I feel like it's like so much work to literally just write a comment like what we just saw Addie do. But affirm your friends, use social media to be encouraging. We see that. It's like fuel, right? When we're going around our days not being selected, it's easy.
Which is most days.
Right? It's easy to get on our heads and interpret that as rejection, but it's not. So we need you all. We need our friends and family to give us those affirmations, to put those comments, to be in our DMs with love. Melanie Loren here is in a Sundance film now that's going to be at South by Southwest. Support her, watch her shows, promote this. So many people I saw were resharing this live stream link in their social media because they're fans of yours. They're your friends, right? That means so much. And anybody out there, think about that golden rule. Like, how do you want to be treated? That's why I started Brave Makers. Like, I wanted something that I could benefit from. I wanted to create an opportunity for a community that would be inclusive and encouraging and cheerleading others toward their goals. So yeah, so I love this. I love that we got connected, and I'm super stoked to see where the future goes for you. We got another comment saying, Melanie, we're so proud of you. You're doing a great job. Know that we are happy to see that you're doing so well. Thelma.
Oh, Aunt Thelma. Listen,
So
I have to shout out everybody.
Do it.
I have so much support. The irony that my church family is supporting my film called The Shitheads. I have to point it out.
That's funny.
But I know, like, when people found out the title, they're like, okay. But listen, it's appropriate. I just tell people it's appropriate for the film. It's a raucous comedy. Sit back and enjoy it. We're not so churchy that we can't have a good time. But yeah, I just want to shout out them because they've supported me so much, and they've heard me say this before. But lots of people in my family. First of all, I have a huge family. Shout out to all my family members because a lot of them are watching right now. You know who you are. And then I have so much extended family, friends, church family, people who have become like family. And I have a lot of support, and I'm so grateful for it.
Shout out to the friends. I'm seeing people in the comments. I'm seeing Angela. I'm seeing Jacob. I'm seeing Tony, fellow actors who also know Miyoko. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and for following. And Melanie, this has been so encouraging. I'm a huge champion of people who are going after it, because you don't even realize sometimes, again, with all the lurkers, people are watching and they're being inspired and they're reminded to go after their dreams too. It's so easy to give up, right? It's so easy to neglect and think, again, get those negative thoughts out of your head. It's not the rejection. It's just that's not your time. It's not the right thing. You're not being selected, but there will be something that you will be selected for, and you just never know. You just never know. So keep going. Well, we have this special thing that we do at the end of our show. It's kind of like our lightning round, something that we call Brave Faves.
Yes.
So if I could get your favorite thing, let's do it.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Yeah.
All right.
Brave Faves. I'm ready.
You got it? Okay.
I'm
What's your favorite thing?
So
what you got?
I'm going to shout out something I've been streaming recently, because we know the list of things you can stream just gets longer and longer every day, and I love it. But I want to shout out, if you have not watched Paradise on Hulu, have you watched it, Tony?
I have.
Okay. If you have not watched Paradise,
Sterling K. Brown, baby.
Paradise got me in the chokehold. Okay? It's so good, and I have to shout it out. Especially, it's like History Month, Tony.
History, let's go.
This show being headed up by this super talented veteran Black actor. And I know it's coming back. Season 1, you got to start at the beginning if you haven't started at the beginning. Start at the beginning. I just got to shout out Paradise. Y'all go check it out if you haven't watched it. He's doing some things, and it's one of those shows where it's like you're watching it, like, okay, this is good. And then when you figure out what you've been watching the whole time, you're like, it's great.
It's so well written too, with the ups and the twists and the things, and it's definitely a masterclass if you're an actor and a writer, I think, and anybody who wants to be involved in TV. So check it out, and let's get Melanie some auditions for Paradise. Come on.
I'm available.
She said. I'm gonna throw back and thank you also to you. You were in my comments on my social media. It was meaningful. Shout out to your dog, Pierre, who we have a connection. My dad, I just celebrated his year of leaving this earth. So his home going, he died a year ago. And on the day that he died last year, it was quite a shock, as one would expect when you lose somebody to a heart attack. But my initial reaction was to watch a film that always reminded me of my dad and what it felt like to be a son or a child, and that was Finding Nemo. So my brave fave this week is Finding Nemo, and it's a reminder, I think, to go heal and love and nurture your inner child by watching.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. That's what Dory says in the film.
That's right.
Just keep swimming. I told you in the comments, I also am a huge Finding Nemo fan. I had Finding Nemo bath towels.
Oh my gosh.
So I hear
it is a special movie. It's a special movie.
Beautiful tribute that you did for your
thank you.
Online too. Yeah.
Thank you. I love it, and I think that's gonna be my tradition. I'm gonna watch this every single year on my dad's death day, and try to also emulate the love that I want to have for my own kids and just for people out there. So thanks Melanie for being a part. Thanks for sharing your brave fave. Let's stay connected here. It's episode 322. You are watching the Brave Maker podcast, and this is Melanie Loren. Please follow her on her social media. Huge shout out to our Brave Maker podcast producer on the other side, Amy Cohen out of Austin, Texas. We appreciate you, Amy. And go see the Shitheads in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest.
Please, yes.
Yes, and see Lissy. Look out for Lissy and some simple expletive. That's all we know. All right, it's like a little Easter egg.
I love it. Thank you, Tony. I had so much fun.
You got it. We'll stay connected. Hope to see you. March 12th, we'll be in Burbank at the LA Connection Theater, 4 p.m. We have a director's panel and a mixer at the New Deal restaurant. Please come and join us. We're building community. We're making connections. We're supporting and elevating brave storytellers and creative artists who are taking a risk and betting on themselves. And today's a good day. Today's a good day to bet on yourself, just like Melanie.
Yes.
We appreciate you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Everybody else, thank you so much for watching and listening. And please consider becoming a Brave Maker partner today. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We don't have any commercials on this show, so you can listen to it and connect with it without any interruptions. But that comes with the giving of time for our staff and our team and all the people who make Brave Maker possible. If you love what you're seeing and listening, donate $5, donate $25 one time or every single month. Go to bravemaker.com/donate today, or just take your phone. Ready? Text the word Brave Maker. It's one word to 44321. Well, I had so much fun, everybody. Thank you so much for this. I love getting to build relationships. I have no doubt that I will cross paths with Melanie in the future. And, her friend Lanisa and I are working on a feature film, and there's so many cool things coming up. So please stay tuned. Please, again, support your friend and go see a movie in the theater. Go see a movie. Support our industry because the box office needs you. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Thanks again, Melanie. We like to say brave stories change the world, and you are the story. Till next time.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.